and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Happy New Year, everybody. Can we have roll call?
Commissioner Budnick? Commissioner Lenko?
Here.
Commissioner Perry?
Here.
Commissioner Schmier?
Here.
Mayor Scott?
Here. All right, let's go on to public discussion. Anything that's not on the agenda? I think it's you.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Commission, staff, viewers. Ted Zachary from 68 Devonshire, also from the environmental group. And I have just two things to talk about. The storytelling was a success, I believe. It was really good. People bonded, and it's just what I wanted, to have citizens come together to talk about stories. And it was really good. I really liked it. And well, it's a long story, but I'm not going to tell you. I got other places to tell stories. Where my daughter works in Grosse Pointe, I suggested that, and they loved it, and that was going there good, successfully too. And then the person from Ferndale, I was interested in that too, Alicia, and I'll be speaking with her in 2 days to have a storytelling in Ferndale. So I think it's growing, where it's more of a community. I think it's one of the seven, what do you call it? I think it's 7 towns. It's the blue zones, where it's important to have a community where you have support and just plain talking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really good. And
Awesome.
so,
Yes.
so the next one is February 1st at 11 o'clock.
Oh, great.
And feel free to, if you're free, come on down and hear some stories or tell some stories. And it was really nice. One person in the group said, "No, I'm not going to tell any stories." But after everybody else gave their story, he told his story too. So it was just beautiful, and it makes me feel good too.
That's awesome.
Ted, that's at the community center?
Yeah, it's at the community center, and it's going to be in one of the smaller rooms, quieter, and
February 1st at 11 o'clock.
yeah, thank you very much.
The first Thursday of each month.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, this is good. She say first Thursday of every month.
Yep.
I think it's going to go all year long. As you know, I'm into the environment, and my story is that I picked up a ladder that I wanted to sell on Marketplace, and I had it in my living room, waiting to be photographed. Meanwhile, my friend dropped off some lights, Christmas lights, said, "Do you want these?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take a look at them." So I looked at them, and I said, "I'm not going to do it." So I said, "I'll put these lights on my ladder." So here's this ladder, like this, and I decided to put these lights on it, and people started photographing it. And it's on
Facebook.
I did see a picture of
Yeah.
it.
Facebook.
It was awesome.
If you want to see it in person, come on over to my house so you can see it in
Excellent.
person. And what I'm thinking of doing is promoting this idea of not buying a tree, killing a tree, to just put in your house for a few weeks and then being tossed by the curbside like the other leaves that I talked about last time. And I'm sure it costs money to pick up these trees too, right? Have any idea how much it costs to pick up the trees?
It's just included in the contract.
Yeah, so it's thousands of dollars, but it's an idea. I'm going to promote it next
Next Christmas, next holiday season.
next winter.
Yeah.
Any questions for me?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
But I'm just delighted that it's happening. I'm just so pleased.
Good job. Well, that's exciting that you got it started because
Yeah.
people love coming together and
Yeah, they liked it.
telling their stories.
Looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Ted.
All right. Any other public items? Nope. All right, let's go on to the liaison reports. Oh, that's right, I have a liaison report. I had to think of this. I have no report to give for the public schools this month, but I will prepare for next month. I have to get used to this, to be honest.
I was gonna say, can I say
Sure,
something with that?
please.
Just to remind people to either go to the superintendent search sessions. There were 2 left, January 23rd, so virtually and in person, and to complete your 31 question survey.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Smear and I were both at one last night,
Mm-hmm.
and she asked a lot of good questions. It was a small group, but it was a good conversation,
Mm-hmm.
really, of what people want to see in the community for a superintendent.
Yes,
So it was good.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, on to Commissioner Lanko for planning and DDA.
Thank you, Mayor. No update to present at this point. The DDA has not met since last meeting, and they're meeting the 22nd, Monday the 22nd. So any members of the public who are interested in attending, that's an open meeting. Jim, that's at 7 p.m. in this room, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, appreciate it.
Commissioner Perry for the Art Council.
Thank you. Sorry. I wrote it up and I emailed it to myself. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. It's here. All right. The Pleasant Ridge Arts Council met on Wednesday, December 20th, and discussed the proposals submitted for the Public Arts Framework Planning Consultant, the Public Arts Framework Plan for the consultant for that. And they put together a recommendation that the City Commission will be considering tonight. The group is planning a gathering for Pleasant Ridge artists and creatives to possibly in late February. That just stay tuned for more on that later. Ted, I think it'll be something you'll enjoy. And then the next meeting is going to be on Wednesday, January 17th, right here at 4:30 p.m. at City Hall. So it's a great group. They have lots of big and small ideas, so it's very interesting. It's a good group. That's
Yeah.
all I have.
Yeah, I went to the last meeting. It was really interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, they're smart,
Mm-hmm.
so.
All right.
Wednesday, January 17th, 4:30.
Okay. Commissioner Schmier, historical.
Historical. So the museum will be open the 20th, Saturday the 20th, from 10 until noon. Again, always a great opportunity to come in, check your file, and buy a then and now book or an ornament. We are past the holidays, but they really are just house ornaments, so they can go in.
It's true.
Yeah. There's nothing holiday about them except that they're ornaments, and we assume it's holiday, but full year-round ornaments. The big thing I wanted to talk about is that we are going to have an open seat on the Historical Commission. So if anyone is interested, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Historical meets 8 times a year, which is more than the other commissions. But the benefit of that actually is that it's a really fun group. People become friends. People really, develop kind of a sense of historic community because we are constantly working on projects. So it is a really great way to meet people and also to get involved. I mean, new members, Nick Zeems in his first year stepped up and decided to do DIA in and out. And Sarah Council in her first year became the treasurer and really revamped the budget. So there's a lot of opportunity even for new members to come in and make an impact. So if anyone is interested, you can fill out an application. If you have any questions, application online or at City Hall. And if you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. On to governmental reports. Yes, please.
Do you mind if I get
Yeah.
Commissioner Budnick's real quick?
Yeah.
So, the new Ridger was delivered, and then the annual magnet. If you didn't get it, or it is very conceiving when it comes in the mail, so it almost may look like junk mail. So you may have thrown it away. If you need a new one, we have some at the rec center. It's online, and then we just got a new batch of magnets. So we have those available for pickup if anybody needs an additional one. And then I just have a few other things. I was hoping the library would be here so we could touch on a joint program that we're offering on January 27th. The library is going to come and people can get their library cards, new library cards renewed, and they're going to talk about all the many in-person and online services that the library provides and be there for to answer any questions. Babysitting workshop and CBR workshop, those are new. Colleen from the swimming pool, which most of you know, she's going to be instructing those. And then the biggest things are swim team registration is now open. The deadline is March 29th. And youth soccer has started with Aurora. We've had lots of people already even on the wait list for some of those teams. So we're hoping to include additional teams from the wait list. So the
amazing.
deadline, if we even can get there, is February 26th for that. And then the next Recreation Commission meeting is Wednesday, January 31st at 7 o'clock. So if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to come to that meeting at 7 at the community center.
What was the date of your next meeting?
31st. At 7. And like Ted mentioned, there are, this has, even lots of stuff. There's stuff about the presidential primary too. But the talking group, there are some talking points that are also laid out and has all the information here in the Ridger too.
Oh, great.
So it's well mapped out.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Exciting stuff. I just had a retirement. Captain Light retired after over 25 years of service. So amazing. So happy for him, sad for
Yeah.
us. But with that, promoted Lieutenant Brusick to captain, Sergeant Nutt to lieutenant, and Firefighter Carr to sergeant. So last night was an exciting night. I promoted 3 officers. They're all going to do an amazing job, and they care about the community, so it's really good. On another side for safety, just encourage everybody with all the changes on Woodward. I know drivers are confused now. They're trying to park in bike lanes, drive through bike lanes, be all over the place. I know we did have a pedestrian hit by a car on Woodward, kind of near our border between our cities. So just encourage everybody, just be, if you're out bicycling, you're walking, really watch for the cars, because people might be a little more confused, pay some more attention because they're trying to figure out the new traffic patterns as all the orange barrels are gone. So just be safe with that. And then for everybody, just encourage this time of year. We have had, seems like we've had more carbon monoxide calls, but it's, as far as people calling saying their alarms are going off, which to me is encouraging because that means people have the carbon monoxide detectors in their home.
Right.
So just remind people, the best place to put them is have them in your bedrooms. You can change out your smoke detector to a combination one, but that's where we need them the most, because if I'm awake in my living room and I start having symptoms, I'm awake and I might notice, hey, I'm not feeling well. But when I'm in bed sleeping, if there's carbon monoxide, I'm asleep, so I'm not going to be alert to respond to the symptoms. And so that's a recommendation, have them in all the bedrooms. You can have them each floor of the house too, but we just want to keep everybody safe. So no one's been harmed, but people's alarms are going off. A lot of times it might just be they're aged out, but it's just great that people are kind of, toned into it. So
Sure. And calling.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Odor investigations, different things, and I'm happy we don't have the snow yet. I'm not ready for the down power lines. Hopefully all the trees are trimmed back and everything that's fallen is fallen, and we're gonna have a good season this year. But yeah, any questions for me?
Questions? All right. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. Happy New Year. And police.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Normally, when I come to the meetings, I check ahead of time, look through all our crime reports, give you guys an update of what's going on. It was a great December. We had hardly anything going on, so things were good. We were expecting, more packages to be stolen. We were good. I think we had 2 throughout the entire season from November on, but things went well. Our officers are out there doing their normal thing, patrolling. We had a few operating while intoxicated arrests, but really nothing huge that we need to speak about. So
Awesome.
only thing I'm going to give you the heads up on, because we are in January, everybody's going to be getting their W-2s. Get your taxes done early rather than later, because we will get those fraud reports where someone will try to collect your refunds. So that's really the only advice I have, and here for any questions you may have this evening.
No? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year. All right. Consideration of the consent agenda.
Mayor.
Sorry.
Jinx. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda be approved.
Is there a second?
A second?
Any discussion? May we take a vote?
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. All right, we'll move on to the commercial.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, we have a public hearing for an amendment to the city's marijuana facilities licensing ordinance. When that ordinance was passed and adopted by the city commission a few years ago, there was a dual licensure requirement that required any marijuana retailer to be licensed under both the recreational and medical laws. The state no longer requires facilities to carry dual licensure. So the amendment that's before you for consideration tonight would remove the requirement for dual licensure and allow one of our retail facilities permitted under the local ordinance to choose to carry one or both of the applicable retail licenses. In practice, it's going to be a recreational license if they're just a single license facility, as more and more and more of the industry and the market are moving towards recreational side, because it encompasses all users.
Right.
So there's still some reasons why the medical license remains relevant, but for all intents and purposes, recreational is where it's at these days. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. There will be a public hearing, and then the commission can choose to consider an act on the ordinance following the public hearing.
Yep. Excellent. All right, well, I will call the public hearing open. Would you like to say something?
Sure, you invited me to speak earlier, and I feel I'm obligated now. I really don't have much to say, other than the city manager was correct that most of the facilities now, if they have a choice, are dropping the medical because it adds additional expense and it adds additional regulatory obligations that aren't needed anymore. And so, because the products are the same and the pricing is the same, the only difference is that one has a 10% tax, that the adult use has a 10% tax. But typically, and I believe this is what Cake House does, they just give a 10% discount to people that actually have a medical card. So to the medical community coming in, there's no practical difference. And there's no difference to you guys either, I don't believe. So we would appreciate it if you adopt this because it's one less license that we have to carry. So thank you.
All right, and for the record, your name and address.
My name is Seth Tompkins. I'm the attorney for East 10 Mile Enterprises, LLC, doing business as the Cake House, Pleasant Ridge, and I live in West Bloomfield, Michigan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Seeing no other comments, I'll close public hearing, and we're ready for a motion, I think.
Mayor, I move we amend the commercial marijuana facilities ordinance to eliminate the dual licensure requirement.
Second.
Any other comment? I guess we're ready for a vote.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. All right, on to the Public Art Framework Plan Consultant selection. Jim?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the city released a request for proposals to prepare a public art framework plan. This was something that was discussed in a course that was determined by the Arts Council as the way to proceed, to make sure that we engage the community at the beginning, and as we look to roll out and build out our public art program, that we have a good vision for where it is that we want to end up and what we want to do, rather than attacking this or trying to do this in a piecemeal fashion. So after the RFP was released, we received six total responses. They were all qualified. They ranged in proposed fees from $13,000 to $65,000. The City Commission and Arts Council had a chance to review the proposals and score them according to the rubric that was in the request for proposals. The Arts Council reviewed those scores. The reviews were also cost blind, so the proposal was in a separate file. So everyone reviewed the proposals based purely on the quality and merit of the proposal itself. And then once the scoring was done, we also added in the fee, so that could be considered after we had done the scoring. The results were that 2 of the proposals stood out. And in the agenda summary, you can see the scores were significantly higher for Designing Local out of Columbus, Ohio, and their proposed fee was the highest at $65,000. The second highest score was Nunez Design, and their proposed fee was the lowest of all at $13,000. And I think that bears some explanation. First, Designing Local is a very qualified firm, and they've done a lot of work for projects, but most of their projects are larger in scope. Erie, Pennsylvania, and larger cities, larger budgets, $1 million kind of millions of dollar projects. And they also they proposed something that was larger than the scope that we asked for. So while their body of work was very impressive, and they're certainly qualified, it was a little beyond what we had asked for. At the other hand, Nunez Design, Ralph Nunez has been involved in the city doing projects for some time now. And Mr. Nunez is semi-retired, and at this point is pursuing passion projects. So his fee reflects basically the time for him to pay his consultants and other people. He's basically doing it for free. And I clarified this with him, how his fee was so low, and that's just because he wants to work here. But Ralph designed the patio area behind the community center. That was one of the catalysts that kind of got that area going. And then the big room project came after that. So then the permeability with the garage doors we added between the 2 spaces flowed out of that. Ralph was second place for the Gainsborough Park charrette design. And he came in the interview and said, "You guys got to buy this house at the end of Kensington," which we ended up doing. And Ralph designed the gardens out front. He's designed the crossover landscaping between Oakland Park and Sylvan on Woodward and the median. So Ralph's been involved with the city. So he's well known to us. He's a talented landscape architect and urban designer. He's taught at Lawrence Tech. He's done charrettes for the Urban Land Institute on a number of cases, so he's well versed in the charrette process, which is what we asked for. It's the same process we used for Gainsborough Park, and it worked very well for that. It's a good way of concentrating a lot of time and energy in a short amount of time to come up with the plan in a way that keeps people's attention engaged before you kind of lose it if you have months or weeks in between meetings or events. It's harder for people to track the project. So the recommendation of the Arts Council was to award the contract to Nunez Design in the amount of $13,000, which is $52,000 less than the other proposal. And you'll see from the proposal scoring that there's really 3 tiers. The first 2 are Designing Local and Nunez Design, and then Giffords Webster and Land Design Studio were also well regarded, but a clear difference between those 2 in the top 2. And then the other 2 firms were in the 3rd group. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. We're likely looking at probably a May or June timeframe for getting this going. Being a charrette process, we want to make sure that we can be in the space, and a lot of the focus is going to be the Woodward Greenbelt area, in addition to all the other parts of town that have potential for public art. But this will be kind of the epicenter of it. So we want to make sure that we can be in this space, and it's important that we can be outside. So we don't want to kick this off too early and start fighting the weather.
Good weather, good participation.
Correct. And also the May or June start gives us a chance to get through the comprehensive plan process, because I would like for our comprehensive plan consultant, who will be behind this schedule, but I'd like for them to be able to be here and experience this process, so that they can, build that into their planning efforts for the comprehensive plan process. Because clearly this is going to be something that will be a big part of the comprehensive plan and complement that. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the process, about the recommended consultant, or anything else.
Thank you. Were there any questions or comments for Jim?
I had a comment, if I may. Three comments. Number one, I did want to point out that Design Local was in fact not local, and that Nunez is local. So I thought that was an important thing to mention. But I wanted to say, yeah, reading through all of them, I thought we did have a lot of great proposals, and they were all a little bit different. So I really appreciate the Arts Council, number one, taking the time to read all of them, because I can tell you that it took a while. 6 proposals, 50 pages each. It took a while, and then to, answer all those questions and reading through them, they were very thoughtful. And yeah, I think it was a great decision, especially not only cost, but, the relationship we already have, I think is really important. So I think they did a great job. So thank you to the Arts Council.
Right, and thanks to everyone that submitted a proposal. I mean,
Yeah.
they were rather thoughtful. There were some that, in fact, on first read, I thought, is this really a fit? And then I had to read it again to get the detail.
Yeah.
It was really really good, the responses that we got.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, I think it's a really good point with Nunez being local, that there isn't that learning curve kind of thing. So they have such a familiarity with the community and sort of who we are as a city and what our location is all about. So as because one of the biggest transformational things was everything that happened over at Gainsborough. And I know while Nunez was not the ultimate planner, that they definitely weighed in early with ideas that worked along that that path literally. And it was great to work with the Arts Council on this, because it was fun as everybody read these different ones and the differences that they pulled out. It was the same thing of pulling, recognizing, wow, there are some really spectacular things, but it's like, how relevant is that? And so I think everybody's very excited. Very excited. Thank you. It was a great proposal you put out there, request, and then we got great results.
Cool.
Jim, can I say one more thing too? I don't know
Sure.
if any of you guys know, Mr. Nunez also comes to camp and he helps with art projects too with the camp kids during the summer.
That's
so
cool.
Nice.
He's very well received with the young folks too of the community. So he's very easy to work with.
I love it.
Enjoyable.
Awesome.
All right, I think we're ready for a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the contract with Nunez Design for consulting services for an amount not to exceed $13,000.
Second?
Maybe we take a vote.
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Nunez.
And team.
And team, exactly. All right, city managers report.
Yes, quickly, I have 2 things that I'd like to address. The police chief search is proceeding. The mayor and I have a meeting with the search consultant next Monday to go through. He's done his first round. We had 40 applicants, which was then narrowed down to a first round shortlist. He's contacted and had Zoom meetings with those candidates now, and we're meeting to discuss next steps about winnowing down the candidate pool to the next level, and then how we're going to proceed. So it's our intent to involve the city commission, the police department, and the public at large in the community in this process. It's a very important hire for the community, as we know. So we want to make sure that everyone has a chance to weigh in and advise on the final decision. So more to come on that soon. Stay tuned. We'll be pushing out information about how everyone can be involved at some point and in some way.
And we're fortunate to have so many applicants. It's
Yes, we definitely had a very good pool of applicants. So it's going to be tough,
yeah.
but that's a good thing. The February primary is coming up, and this is a different one because it is a presidential primary election. And we push this information out on the city website, but this one is always every 4 years. People tend to forget that this happens every 4 years, that we have to ask you what ballot you want if you're participating in this election. Because in most primary elections, you'll get a ballot and it has a Republican side or a Democrat side, and you just choose which one you want to fill out. Given that this one is run by the parties, they don't, the two parties don't want that. You have to choose a ballot. There's two options. So we have to mail you a request for you to tell us which ballot you want. And furthermore, this year, with the changes that came into play with Proposal 2 in November of 2022, we now have two separate absentee ballot voter lists. One is the permanent application list, which is the older one, which came into play years ago, where we mail you an application for every election to get an absentee ballot. But starting with the past November election, you had the choice of joining the permanent absentee ballot list, where you no longer get an application, we just send you a ballot. However, we also have to send you now a letter saying, okay, we're going to send you a ballot. We know that, but we don't know which one. So you have to mail it back and tell us if you want to participate in the Democratic presidential primary or the Republican presidential primary. So this election's weird. For all of the elections up until the 2028 presidential election, you'll just get a ballot from now on. But we don't care which one you participate in.
Just one, though.
Yes, just one. It's still a secret ballot. We won't know who you vote for.
Yeah.
And if you're a Democrat, Michigan has open primary. So if you're a Democrat, you can participate in the Republican primary and vice versa. If you're an independent, congratulations. Pick which one you'd like. So it's just the nature of the beast with this particular one. And this does happen every 4 years. This isn't the first time we're doing it. We always get the letters about how, this is, what are you doing? This has never been done before. It has, every 4 years. And it's been a long time, so we forget. But, so pay attention. And then if you are on the permanent absentee ballot application list, there is a checkbox where you can choose to be on the permanent absentee ballot list so that you won't have to do the application process to bring it back for us to then send you a ballot. You can just automatically get a ballot for every election.
And forgive me for not knowing, the primary, does it also have 9 days of in-person voting?
It does. Every election has 9 days of early in-person voting, in addition to no reason absentee voting and day of voting. So Kirsten, with 3 elections this year, is going to be very, very busy. Send cookies.
10% of your year.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I just wanted to highlight some of those unique features of this particular election. And the February primary the presidential primary is February 27th this year. So Michigan has moved itself up in the schedule as well.
All right.
I do have a quick question. Is there any move, I haven't seen anything, to get rid of that permanent application? Now that they allowed for the permanent thing, it seems like you're now sending just lots of mail. So are they?
It does feel that way.
Yes. Are they thinking about getting rid of that?
State's goal would be to eventually do away with it completely.
Okay.
So they don't have a timeline, they don't have a time goal, but
that is-
eventually there will be permanent ballot or no list from what they've said so far.
Okay. Because the permanent absentee still allows you to vote in person if you bring it with you. So, okay.
Yeah, if you don't return your absentee ballot, you can still show up on election day, you can still show up at the early voting site.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Is that a change that has to be made on a ballot initiative, or is that something?
To get rid of the application mailer.
Don't know. And that's probably something you do.
No, I think they're just trying to make one list of permanent voters and do away with the permanent application, but also the state's been trying to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a long road before they get there, so I'll
Thank
keep
you.
you posted if anything actually, if they get to the point where they're saying get on a permanent list or not, I'm sure I'll be mailing something to everybody.
It's an interesting time. Michigan has a very interesting election structure now. A lot of states have early in-person voting. A lot of states have mail voting, no reason absentee mail voting. Michigan, I think, is one of the only states, if not the only state, that has all of it now. And this is really the first election cycle that everybody is going through this. So yes, everything is very new and very different. We're all going through this for the first time now. So I promise you, Kirsten isn't coming in and changing everything. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot right now.
Yeah.
And the clerks, if you see a clerk, give them a hug.
Give them a hug.
They need it.
Give a clerk a hug.
Give a clerk a hug.
Ask their permission
Or
first.
Yes,
chocolate.
of course.
They may
Chocolate's
not.
fine. Bring snacks.
You bring snacks.
I do bring snacks.
You bring snacks. No, you bring them.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
And does anyone else have any questions about anything going on, happening around town?
None for me.
Okay.
All right. Any other business?
Mayor.
Yes.
So the Pleasant Ridge Women's Club is having a trivia fundraiser on Friday, January 12th. 7 p.m. is set up, and then 7:30 trivia starts. Now, it's $20 a person, and this all goes to a very good cause. They raise money for scholarships for students, and it's for high school students, or actually it's for any student going on to higher education who are within the Ferndale School District area. So it doesn't matter what school you go to. And it's actually time right now that students can start applying for the scholarships. So reach out to me and I can help put you in contact, because I don't have that contact information right now. But A. Perry at cityofpleasantridge.org. And yeah, it's a great time for your seniors to start applying for those scholarships. But then also, you know, with this trivia thing, it's a ton of fun. It's up at the community center. And it's very casual. It's bring your own snacks and everything like that. And just, it's Friday night, and it makes it, it's a lot of fun, but it is a great fundraiser too, for a good cause. Also, just a reminder, because it's finally gotten cold this winter. We have salt delivery will be on the third Tuesday of every month, so it's going to be on January 16th. Make sure to have your buckets to the curb by 8 a.m. I always try and say 7, just because it's like they drive around and they do a survey, so they know what's out there, and then they know what to, how to plot their course. That is also unbundled brush pickup day. So, as limbs and things like that come down, or if you have to do some winter trimming, don't hesitate to, put those out for the third Tuesday as well. It just has to be out there before 8 a.m.
The only thing I'd add,
Uh-oh.
no, you're exactly correct. However, with salt delivery specifically,
Oh,
winter weather can impact that schedule, because Brylar drives around with a plow and fills up the
Right.
buckets from the salt spreader on the back of one of their plow trucks.
yeah.
But if we have winter weather, they're out with their cell trucks plowing streets. And if we have winter weather a day before or 2 days before, their crews have probably been out for 12 or 24 hours and might be sleeping. So even if the winter weather event is over on that Tuesday, they might not be able to get to it until Wednesday or Thursday of that week. So yes, if you have your bucket out on Tuesday, leave it.
Leave it.
If it doesn't get filled, if it's out by 8 a.m. on Tuesday, we've got it on the list. It will get filled.
And
Just-
don't have your feelings hurt, because they will be back. But here's the other one: is it's raining. They can't deliver salt in the rain and
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, with sticks as well as with brush as well as the salt, it's like they're busy and juggling many things.
Now, brush has gotten a little more recently, a little more reliable, because Davy is now doing
Oh.
our loose brush pickup.
Oh,
Because they just bring around the chipper and grind it and chip it and take
Right.
it away right away.
nice.
So they're not on the same Brylar schedule.
Okay, cool.
So loose brush should be pretty good. But yes, salt can definitely be impacted by weather and events. So be patient. We'll get it.
Yeah, it is, and it is one of those great benefits. You just put a 5-gallon bucket out there, preferably with a lid on it, and then you can keep your sidewalks clear. And yeah, I think that's all I have. And then yeah, come do trivia on Friday.
And if you don't have a team of 8 and you just have a team of 1 person, you can join another team.
Yes,
so
we have extras.
Yeah, so don't feel like you need to put together a big team. Just
go.
Just come to trivia. I won't be there, but I will be next month.
I will be there.
Yes, I have a 10-year-old's birthday party. So
There you go.
And the scholarship information is in the Ridger too,
Oh,
but it's
great.
also posted online today and pushed out via Facebook too. So
Oh, great.
it's
Thank you.
everywhere as of today.
So it's in the Ridger. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And the foundation scholarship also.
Oh, right.
Excellent.
Information's in here too.
Right.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, we're ready to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks for.